Hello, guys. Thanks for watching the VOD. Yeah, this is early stream, but that doesn't really matter to you guys because you're watching it whenever this got published. But for the people on Twitch, this will be an early stream. Oh, that's an interesting phenomenon. There's no music at the moment. I don't know if we'll have to wait till somebody comes in the chat to confirm. I don't know if you can hear the ambient sounds. I was just listening to the rain and thunder and stuff. You may not be able to hear it. May not be loud enough for you. Excuse me. Hey Sorvin. What's up, that guy? You can hear it? What's up, Red Six? Let me take a quick screenshot of this. And post that into our Slack. Hey, Death Rider. Posting this. I'm gonna make it rain again because it was very cozy, and that was the whole point of me being in here with the volume turned way up. I'll be checking on chat in a second. Let me type something into Slack about this bug. Environment art. Rain speckles where they're colliding with the plane up there or something in the Fungus cave in ESW. Post image. Zorko87, thank you for the follow. Lilac Rocket Wizard, thank you for the follow. What's up, Jace? Join a cult. Blue Queen. Vexforge. Chess Solo. Classic EverQuest. Meeks. Rook. Yeah, I'm starting the stream early today so it can end early. I am so tired. I've just not been able to wake up today. If it's been freaking rough. So it's 6 p.m. my time. Jasmine's got stuff tonight. So I wasn't on the hook for dinner. So I've already had a Red Bull. I think some smart aleck, some wise guy in the YouTube comments recently said, "You know who you are." Like, something like what's the over under on me going an entire stream without referencing a couple things, energy drinks being one of them. Well, not today, buddy. Ollie said same. I took antihistamine last night and it destroyed it. Maybe it's because we're twin brothers. That's what happened. You took antihistamine last night, and because we're twins, I woke up affected by it today. I thought it felt familiar. What's a Viro? Borluck. Lilac Rocket Wizard said, EQ vet from long ago. I found out about Eminem right before the playtest a few weeks ago, and I'm super excited to find this after being let down by projects like Pantheon, Camelot, Unchained, etc., etc. Well, we welcome you. Chromium, hello. Candyman, hello. Can't wait to explore these caves. I mean, I don't want to ruin it for you. It's not like there's a ton to them. Over time, we'll probably add some more stuff, and I know that our wonderful quest team. They don't know I don't know that we've ever called them the quest team, but Lasava and Nicodemus have been really hammering on getting the starter quests and stuff like that done in this zone. And I think there's some stuff that leads through here, and then got these interesting elves in, so that and we'll add to them so that maybe they can tell you a little bit about what's going on as well. I think this might be. I thought there was maybe some test mushroom in game, but let me reload zone. But this is definitely my first major use of the fungus mins. I think this may be the first implementation of them, though. You're going to see a lot more of them in the deep. They're super cool, though. I love the animations and stuff. We'll make it rain again because it's pleasant. Creepy bald elves. I guess they're kind of creepy. They live in a cave. What's up, Meeks? Bet there's going to be some good herbalism to be done down there. Yeah, there probably would be some stuff down there. Makes sense, right? Hopefully Rift comes down here and put some stuff in. Gamer Mom Jess, thank you for the follow. These guys over here maybe. I think they're not set up properly, so let's fix them real quick. But yeah, this was so cozy. I was in here listening to the lightning, like kind of echo through the tunnel. It's pretty cool. So we got a spiteful sporling, beguiled blue caps, spoiled sporling. Do you think a rambunctious red cap? Do you think the name spoiled sporling works? It was corrupted. I had originally thrown corrupted in, but corrupted is such a broad term, and I didn't, and there's a lot going on with corruption in our game, so I didn't want to like have it be too misleading. So I went for, I just opened MMO designer's favorite tool and hit the thesaurus. Yeah, these guys over here, they have a different name. You'll notice. What's up, Krakowski? Well, these guys up here, not these guys down here, are also turted up. The range should have more opacity. Opacity or transparency? Yeah, these guys have different names. And they have good They have the magical ability to walk through stone and earth. That is not a bug, it's a feature. Gamescom? Cryptini, I've only been to Gamescom once, and it's just because I happen to be in the city anyway, because my wife's family lives there. It just looked like a really, 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 really tiny EA, or not EA, E3 or whatchamacallit. The convention, the other convention I never go to. GDC. Deep root beer, probably great. We probably, huh? Let's see. I have a friend that's been solo deving a project for 3+ years that has a slot in Future Game Show today. It's really exciting. That is exciting. Yeah, I think using it for that type of stuff's really cool. I'm always just got a response on the thing. Hold on one second. The bug that I posted. Can we address things like this with a plane that sits a bit higher above the Yep, that. he was typing something similar as I was. Cool. Okay. Cool deal. We know what the bug is and we know how to fix it. Anyways, I as a game developer, I always found like E3 Comic-Con was pretty cool to go to back in the day. Just because there was just so much going on and it was so varied. And I only went to Comic-Con for DC Universe Online because of the comic book implication, obviously. But E3 was kind of cool, but it was also kind of a bummer as a young game developer. Because you would get there and you would see like everything was just such a presentation. And it was such like a business schmooze fest. Like the community could only come in whatever it was, like the Friday afternoon or something. So it was almost always like reps from distributors and shit and media. And 90% of the time, they did not give a single shit about your game, right? Like a fun story. I got to explain EverQuest to a reporter from Playboy, and this was in the early 2000s. So it really required some explanation. Like, what is this? Starting at fundamentals, ground up, and stuff like that was kind of interesting. But the thing that wasn't interesting was like coming up with like a 1-minute demo. They were like, yeah, you got to do like a 1-minute demo, and then you realize about 10 demos into the first day that really your 1-minute demo needs to be refined to be about 20 seconds. Because typically, I should probably turn my light on so the green screen works and shit. So yeah, like refining the demo to be 20 seconds for people like from Best Buy or GameStop or whatever to come by and kind of look at it. And just not even be interested because they're looking for like the latest smoke and mirrors demo for some game that may come out in 2 years or whatever. So the thing that I thought was kind of lame walking around E3s was just how many like business goons were walking around at all times. It was just like black t-shirt, black blazer, designer blue jeans everywhere. They all had like their like I'm down with the kids. Down with the kids look, right? Black blazer, black t-shirt, maybe a rock and roll t-shirt of some sort. Um and then like it's just they're just goons. Just a sea of them, just a sea of goons. And then it was cool to walk around and like see some of the nicer setups or whatever. Some of the like overly production valued kind of, but then I look at something like Gamescom, or I look at, you know, um something like E3, at least the way it used to be, and it's like a company spent 700, a million, 2 million, 5 million, whatever it is, 20 million on like a booth. Just like, man, invest that into some better shit. So that's my thing. That's my thing with those, especially for smaller companies, because people are like, "Oh, are you going to be there?" I'm like, "Why would we be there?" Like, we have Twitch. You guys, like, talking to you guys right now. It's been what, 15 minutes, 16 minutes, and 48 seconds. This has been more productive than spending a day as in our current position. Now, if you're like getting exposure, if you're really looking to meet people or network or whatever, it's just like, it's cool, but it's the same thing when people are like, "Oh, are you going to pay for advertising?" It's like, not anytime soon. We still got to convince you people that like actually found us in the first place that we're worthwhile and worth sticking around with. We don't need to like go out and try to entice some people that don't even know who the F we are. Anyway, so back to chat. Enough of my rambling about bullshit. But Cryptini, I hope everything goes very well for your friend. Cryptini, are they from Europe, or did they fly over? Or Lilac said, in a response to, in response to Red Six's comment about being amped on the playtest. I really dig that there's a real sense of doing the work, making the vision happen, instead of like other recent classic style projects, VC, Kickstarter funding, mired. Yeah, I don't even know, like, yeah, I don't know about the other projects. The book graphic at the bottom of the ability bar looks new. It is new. Look at you. Thank you for noticing. That's why I've had to move so many of my Unity windows off onto another screen, because you guys notice everything. Here, I'll click a button, see if you think it's cool. Well, apparently, here, I'll put it here, I guess. To just find a, there we go. Don't mind my work UI. My work UI is not my play UI. And then I'll click this button again. What? I'll scroll down so that you can. Yeah, I broke it already. I'll click this button. Speaking of demos, Mir, I'm gonna mess up your name if I try to say the full thing, but I'm gonna try to say the full thing, and then we'll see if we can do it. Mir Anyanchala? Neshala? Yeah, I'm gonna say Mir from now on. That just confirmed my original assumption. You are officially called Mir now. What's up, Kenny Discord? Hey, Justin Beard, my dear friend. Pipes, what's up? Cryptini said I didn't get to E3 for the first time until 2014 or so. My favorite part was always walking the concourse hall to check out the smaller studios. Yeah, What was it? It was like Kinji Hall or something like that back in the day. To be fair, your goal isn't a direct capital investment at the moment. Yeah, but I just wonder how productive that really is during those. I don't know. I mean, I've never had to chase that kind of money, so. Nick Carnegie said, "What's up, Sean? I'm curious about your thoughts on ever needing to raise the level cap. How does the team feel about long-term character progression?" Generally speaking, I think we have a tendency on a number of things to not be never say never, but I think our general vibe is that we don't want to get into the like raising the level cap game, you know, um where you're constantly just kind of creeping it up a bit. Um I don't like I said I don't know that we would never ever raise it to like 65 or 70 or something like that, but it's not on our radar and our hope, I think, I don't know. Ollie's in here. I think our hope is to find more things for you to do horizontally or get the game to a state where you're either playing on a I don't know, you're playing on an alt, hitting a new server, or you're happy with the amount of content that we introduce and sort of the power gains that you can get through other means beyond just level that we're adding as we go. I don't want to bring up chat bubbles this early in the stream. I don't want them. What did we think about tabs and chat boxes? I love tabs and chat boxes. I think we all love tabs and chat boxes. It's just Encrypt is one man and has been doing a shitload of work and just hasn't added them yet. I think we just had a talk or conversation about that recently. I'll turn on the music in a minute. I was having such a nice time being in here. You can't even see it now. Let me get to the edge. And then let me go fix this broken spawn. Kensho Hall, that's what it was. That's really loud, huh? I have it cranked up. I have it cranked up so that you could hear the rain. Let me run back here, and that'll remind me that I need to fix this spawn volume. What was somebody just saying something that I wanted to respond to? Mir said that works fine for me, lol, from a book series. Mir, Heineshala? Yeah, Mir's, it's gonna have to be Mir. These guys over here don't have a wandering volume. Guaranteed. Oops. Nope. Close your eyes. We'll zoom past something. There we go. What if there's going to be a mushroom monarch or a king? Mushroom monarch. I like it. What is that called? Alliteration? I'm so uneducated. Automatopoeia? It's something. Alliteration? I went to public school in Alabama. Oh, that's what it is. Somebody asked, Ashes Eternal said, "Hey robot, are you primarily an artist or do you have an impact on systems? Can you give a small summary of yourself? Very new here. Apologies in advance." No need to apologize. If there's any topic chat loves to hear, it is me talking about myself. They love it. My background is, if you look in my about, you'll see kind of a breakdown of stuff I worked on. I originally joined the industry to be, well, I joined the industry as a customer service rep on EverQuest in 2000 with the hopes of maybe one day becoming some sort of a game developer. I didn't give a shit what I did, to be honest with you. I had done some modding, but like not any good mods. Just like I experimented with modding before that, and so I thought maybe I was going to be an environment artist. I had my cracked copy of Photoshop, as everybody did, with like alien skin, so I could put page curl on everything, give it all crackly look. You know, it's just like playing around with like little BSP tools. I think I made like a Freeport morgue with like bloody tiles where they wheeled the cart down there, and there was like a necromancer that was in the morgue and all this stuff. Like that was the whole story I had before I made it out to San Diego. But I basically just wanted to get in the company by any means possible. Made it in through customer service. And so it's like, once I got in there, I was like, I'll do anything, you know. And they didn't have a need for artists, but I'd always run like D&D campaigns for my friends, and was kind of interested in writing and stuff. And so I wound up getting into design. I'll shorten this story a lot. This story's been told enough times. Got into design, primarily a content designer. So I did that for 11 years, but I've always had a strong interest in systems as well. And so I just like design in general. And then for the second half of my career, since about 2011, I've been a producer at various stages of producerdom, like producer, senior producer, executive producer, chief product officer, that type of thing. On this project specifically, I do a little bit of everything with regard. That's not true, right? Because everything's pretty fucking broad. I mainly do content implementation, so quest creation and implementation, NPC placements, NPC creation. Though Nick and I have been working on a system because he's great with SQL, where I can like come up with NPC names and level ranges and classes I need and stuff, and then he can just quickly like not generate, but like give me the spread of levels that I need, right? So I don't have to manually make each one level 5, level 6, level 7, and then hook up all their abilities, all that stuff. So it's easy for him to propagate that stuff out pretty quickly. Make sure they're set up good, and then then he will throw them into some NPC spawn groups, and then I can just plug them in here like you're about to see. Here, I'll enable this and you'll see. But yeah, for this project, I basically have input on a lot of design stuff, a lot of art stuff. The whole team provides input on everything, to be honest. I don't know. I've been doing some art, environment art and stuff, in terms of like, over the weekend, for example, I had a shower thought about a little mini dungeon that would be cool. And hit the team up. I was like, oh, I think we can kit bash this mini dungeon. It'd be kind of neat. And sure enough, Bjorn helped me out and got it going and started propping it out, and was doing a little bit of like, well, I created the pieces that we needed from some other pieces in Blender and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. And then I do production work. We're not a team where it's like we're not siloed or anything. And for people that have more time on their hands, since we're all volunteers, I've been some of us just do a little a little bit of everything. Java Stein said, Sean, let me show you something cool. Also, Sean, break it immediately. Hey, we fixed it. It works again. Yeah, so as I said, these guys, let's look at them. Yep, they don't have a wander. So wander chance, we'll make it 0.3. So 30% of the time, they'll stop for 10 seconds, give or take 5. And we'll hit save on this. We'll come back over here. We'll reload the zone. And then they should be... These guys are just chilling out over there. Ashes Eternal, did I did I thoroughly bore you with that rambly ass background that still didn't clarify your question? Can you give a small summary of yourself? That was not small. I speak in caps. Thank you for the follow. Is it Donatole? Donto. Tone Loke is your new name. What? That is exactly true. Nick Carnegie's like, what would you say you do here? I'm a people person. That is exactly what I do here. I lure unsuspecting people onto the team. That is my job. Please put a Mask of Tinkering in game. Need a gnome bard in this game. I think you asked this in Discord as well, and I think Encrypt responded and said you never know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hit play on the music so we got some music back in the background. Oops, I'm gonna switch accounts so it doesn't ask me if I'm still listening. Also, I fixed one bug so far this stream. We can go confirm that. Let me know if the music winds up being too loud. The guys now move. Bug fixed. He fixed one bug and made 10 new bugs. It's called job security. Robot being a people person. Well, I mean, that's the future of robotics, really. So, Sorvin, I'm scrolling all the way back up. What's up, Qualinos? What's up, Turnip Gin? What's up, Alter Date? Biscuitine. I'm gonna call you Biscuitina now. Everybody's getting new names this stream. Dan of the Aristocrats, hello. I think I scrolled too far up because I've already read that. Wicked Sloth, what's going on? Sorvin said, found Eminem from a YouTube video suggestion, decided to join last playtest, almost gave up. Coming from WoW, I found it really hard to understand what to do at first. Pushed myself to learn the game and fell in love. L-O-V-E. Love. Well, apparently the caffeine's kicked in. I found the sense of community so refreshing, nostalgic. WoW server meshing, group finder made the world feel lonely and anonymous. I never saw anyone I recognized. That's sad. Well, welcome home. Welcome back to where you will recognize people. You will have friends and allies, and you will develop a nemesis. Altered 8 says, hello Robot. When considering beast folk races for after full launch patches, what are your favorite for potential adds to M&M? The team is very wary of us going to beast heavy. What's up, Eric? And just adding everything. I still think the ideas that Nick and I discussed for Play as a Monster in the original days of the project still have some merit and may give you an opportunity to play all sorts of stuff without necessarily having to dedicate yourself to it. But I still think there's a world in which some rats and frogs and stuff like that might be playable. But you never know. You never know. Like, here's the thing. If enough of you guys are subscribing and hanging out with us for enough years, I'm sure the game will go off the rails. I'm sure we'll just go all completely off the rails. Dan of the Aristocrats, are you Goblin Dan? Are you the Dan that's in Discord? You are? I think you're really cool. You goblins. But Grabo is a different goblin. Or is that you also? Grabo is your friend. That's okay, that's what I thought. Then that makes sense. You guys are hilarious. Blue Queen of Dragons, I realize you're a helpful shaman and also a sheer body pillow. And like Talet said, Eminem is like Cheers. It is. That is the hope. That has been an analogy. That's an analogy that I've used with regards to MMOs for like more than 20 years now. Wow. Cryptini asked, we've talked about playing as monsters. Are there plans to allow us to play as MREs? Like I said, the game could go off the rails. There's no telling. All right, so we fixed that bug. These guys are working. These guys are just chilling out, staring ominously at the other mushrooms. We could probably do some data hookup for these guys and maybe make some variety for these druids. But they're probably fine for now. I would absolutely love to be working on the little mini dungeon that we conjured up over the weekend, but I really just don't. You guys will never see that until you encounter it in game. So that's that. So we'll have to work on something else. I'm trying to think of what else that's on my list to get done today. I really should be working on adding more doors to Night Harbor right now, but I need to actually go through that new process a couple times to get comfortable with it. So what else? Can you hear me over the music? Music looks like it's loud. I turned it down a little bit. You hear me just fine? Then I'll turn it back up. My bad. I overreacted. Somebody in the VOD comments is going to disagree with you probably. Repo, Jim, Grabo are all real people. Sna, are you accusing him of being an alt account? What? Imminent controversy. Since we all know the Goblin Wizard is going to win the class poll, they would look so cute in tiny old school Merlin caps, the cones. A little dunce hat. Are you picturing like a dunce cap? What's up, Nuke PBR? If your voice is considered 100% sound, is 35% comparison. 1K, thank you. My voice is absolutely considered 100%. In every poll. Unlike Pirate Software's voice, which is 120%. My voice is real, so it caps out at 100%. Music's so good anyway, man. It's great. We love Robert. Robert is an incredible musician. Where should I be propping? No, not propping. Let me go to Zone, Scarwood. I know I've got some new spawn groups that Nick put together that I could be tossing in there while we chat. Pirate Shade. Oh man, I'm just punching up for the funs of it. Dude. Let's see. Does eating mushroom man meats give you... Mushroom man meat. Does eating mushroom man meat... Pause. Exactly. I did actually pause on that one. No, it doesn't do anything funny yet, but we do need to get some funny effects in for some of the things that you can consume. Based on survey results for player locations, only 23 Oceanic votes. I know for certain more people have been joining the playtest. What are the chances of Oceanic server for EA? It's really going to have to be based on demand. And the main reason for that is not like cost or anything like that. That's really not our concern. As much as it is creating a bad experience for you guys. Yeah, the mushroom guys, you're gonna see a ton of them as we get into the deep. Over the weekends, Bjorn and I went back into Caves of Aram, Deep Dunes as it's been known, and started dusting that off a bit. And that's just such a fun zone. I can't wait to do more deep zones, but I think that one's really gonna be a fun one. We've got one more big deep zone, the Great Cavern Sea that the Deep Elf City is located on. That's just north of there that we've got to start yet, and who knows what craziness we'll put in there. But I think just Deep Dunes itself is going to be it's going to be cool. Chinny's been working on the Underdocks, which is a dock, like a deep dock district under Night Harbor, and that's super cool. Yeah, so Vexforge, did that make sense? I can scroll back down really quick. Did that make sense? Like, it's not that we wouldn't want to have a server for you guys to have like an optimal experience with regards to like ping or whatever, but we don't want to bring a server up and then there'd be like 50 of you. The world's going to be really big. I mean, it's not small going into early access. It's already not small. But it's going to be really big by the time we get done. So, regardless of the amount of subs, what's the ideal population for each server you guys hope for early access or for, like, as the game continues to grow? So far, we haven't seen any. I haven't heard an indication from Ali that there's like something that binds us number-wise with regards to the number of people that can exist on a server or could play on a server at a given time. We've really just been zone-bound. We're running smooth at the moment with 500 people in a zone. And the thing that we're looking at is once all of the cities are in place, if we continue with the current zone map that we have, the game's probably going to be, this is like, I believe like about a fifth of our overall space. So the number of like dungeons and redundant sort of areas to camp and redundant zones for a given level range will be pretty significant. There'll be a lot of room for folks. Could easily see. So server cap for players is 5K. No, I don't know that there needs to. Again, until Ollie tells us that there needs to be a server cap of some sort for some reason. Once the world's fully developed, I'd be curious to see what we could support concurrently on a server, but I would say it should be several thousand easily without, you know, now if everybody tries to go to one zone, it'll crash. But you also got to look at the number of characters on a server is not the your CCU or your concurrent user count at a given time is not indicative of. I think a lot of people look at a CCU count and they go, okay, there are 1,000 people on the server, so that's what a server can support. And really, and I think our recent data has shown this as well. One of the rules of thumb that I've used in the past is kind of like a rule of, you know, 4s. So if there's 1,000 CCUs, then you probably had 4,000 people play that day. And then multiply by that by 4 again, and you probably have 16,000 people play over the course of a month if it maintains 1,000 CCU throughout the month, pretty like average. That can vary significantly game to game, especially depending on the content model and all sorts of stuff like that. But on the MMOs I've worked on, that's kind of been the case, if I'm not mistaken. And looking at some other teams' numbers, even though I don't know the details of the exact behind-the-scenes KPIs, I'm kind of assuming that's been the case for them as well. And so at that point, I would say, like, if we have 3,000, let's just say we have 5,000 concurrent on a server. Like, let's pretend there's a world in which that happens and it works. Then I would say, you know, we're probably easily looking at, you know, upwards of 20,000 people played, you know, could have played that day, and 80,000 accounts may exist on that server. Now, those may turn out to be really bullshit numbers, but I think it's valid. Turtle Wow said they had 44,000 online at once and 500,000 accounts, active accounts. So the math doesn't hold up 100%, but it's roughly right. So let's just round down to 40,000. That's 160, and then round that down to, I don't know, 150, and then 4, and then we're off by what, 100,000. So that's good enough for government work, I guess, right? Math-wise, or do you guys feel that math is just complete shit? Fatuous Fall, did that answer your question at all? Or do you not accept, are you like, I do not accept that answer? Javastine said, sorry for repeating a question. Always repeat questions if I miss them. Just because I ramble and shit, and then every once in a while I pretend like I'm actually going to do work, and that distracts me as well. Does he have anims now? Oh, he's got anims now. He's got anims now, but he does not have eyes, but that's my fault. Ollie said also, I think numbers are plus minus 20%. 704K is close enough. Yeah. I gotta fix his eyes. So Javastine, yeah, not Stein, Steam for sure. Or no, not really. I guess it could be Javastine. Anyway, sorry for repeating the question, but what about, but about to head back from my break, and I hope to catch you. I know EA is the first quarter of 2026, but on a few streams, folks have said January while streaming. Is January confirmed, or is the only solid still first quarter? We like to under promise and over deliver, so we're gonna keep saying Q1. The reality is we're all pushing really hard for it to be in January, but again, we'll see. We want to make sure that while we know the game's not going to be done and everything's not going to be 100% ready when we go into early access, we want to make sure that if there are some avoidable issues, then we avoid them. You know what I mean? And you said it is Java, but with like Frankenstein. So it's Javastein. Azaban MMO, hello. Rixie, hello. Zenfar, thanks for the number earlier, and hello if I didn't say it already. What's up, Moz? Wool Socks, what's going on? Okay, so let's place some spawn volumes in here. Since the last time we've been in here, I did come in and sculpt a little bit more, made it a little bit more hilly, and kind of broke up the plane a little bit, if you know what I mean, and kind of made a little bit more of a valley rut to come through here once we paint in, which I learned how to do. I haven't done it. Well, I mean, I learned partially how to do like vertex painting. We'll fix this facade sometime soon and get the dog leg that is over in the other zone in Keeper's Bite in here. And will mounts be in for the next test? Mounts have been in. You just can't afford them, I don't think. Well, wait. No, that may be a lie. Maybe you couldn't purchase them. So I believe they're in. You're very tempted to apply for y'all's QA position, but not very well equipped for customer-facing roles. My soft skills aren't the best, but I know y'all find someone talented. We had like 32 applicants before we like just closed it. We're like, we gotta pause. We have to hit pause. We've got some strong applicants in there. So thank you everybody for that sent a application, a submission, a cover letter, and a resume to us. We really appreciate it, and we've definitely got some good candidates. But yeah, so some more work has been done in here since the last time we were in here, I believe, and now we'll add in some zone spawns, add in some NPCs. So let's look at it. What changes? Oh no, we don't want to do that. So that happens. It's a bug that happens when you zone with that up sometimes. Grabo will settle for a wooden cart with a wonky wheel. I think that really should be an option. Is the music still a decent level for you guys? I'm looking down at the monitor and it seems like it's very, very loud. Okay. Did I get booted? You start pushing changes. All right, so I'll I'll probably get booted soon, and I will curse early. I'll curse early Ollie. I'll curse Ollie for me being early. Hey Zukin. You do environmental modeling? I do some very amateurish environmental modeling. Like, I'm able to come into a zone like this once it's set up by real artists and like do some terraforming, you know, like pull some verts around and make some hills and bumps and stuff so that I can throw some more props in here so that I can then oops. So then I can come in here and populate it. Alright, so we got spawn volume here. Alright, so we do have volumes here. May want to look at the density then. 15. Let's get 25. Actually, I feel like that may wind up being too much. 20. I am an environment fiddler. I'm a fondler. I fondle environments. Huh? Pause. Yeah. Let me correct that one. I fiddle with environments. Yeah, that'll wind up being the clip. Yeah, the fire got an upgrade, and we're continuing to play with it to get it exactly where we want it. But the new fire is a result of we have brought on board a new team member who is a VFX dude who's been doing VFX for quite a while to help Zukin out, and he's a fan of ours, and he's. Well, actually, I'll let you read the team page, and if he's ever on, I'll let him explain his background. I don't want to reveal too much, but we brought on two new people in the last little bit, in the last month or few weeks or so. Let me find the spawn point in the hierarchy. There we go. There's spawners. Giants, so maybe like 23. Hey, Gunnar Wolf. / fondle mud command win. That's really well. I need programming assistance for that little level of interaction. Do you know if M&M will have underwater dungeons? I'm weird, I always enjoyed them. It's funny you ask that. So I think I mentioned kitbashing a mini dungeon earlier. That is not the underwater one, but while I was in, I don't know, eating lunch today, I was like thinking about another dungeon to kitbash. Oh, with the assistance of COD. You can actually help me with more than just smart-ass comments in chat. He's gonna act like he didn't hear me. He's gonna... You're still on newbie probation, COD. I don't care how cool your dungeon is. Oh god, that is more than I can do. Why do you send me your toughest battles, or what is it? What's the meme? Why do you send me your toughest? I think it is the toughest challenges, toughest battles. You know the meme. His dungeon, you guys are gonna love his dungeons. You're really, God, I don't know if we've said it, but you really have done. Yeah, stop giving me your toughest battles. And the response is, I literally just I want to chop off a part of your dungeon and reuse pieces of it to make a new place. But yeah, so COD, remind me, I want to get with you. I was thinking about this over lunch. I think with some of the stuff that you've done for Rothold, that's enough of its own like architecture and all that other stuff. I was going to get with you to see if there's some stuff we could crib from there, using the style that you've got for Rothold for sure, because it's so like, it's awesome. And then pull that together with I've got an idea for it. We'll put that on the little mini dungeon creeper bonus list. Verdo, thank you for the follow. Well, the thing is, Blue Queen, the hardest part about doing any of this stuff is coming up with the initial assets and textures. And then once we have it, then it's like, oh, okay, do we, can we reuse this structure slightly different? Or if we've got like really cool hallways and tunnels and arches and windows and all this other stuff and rooms, now we've developed a style. And so for the dungeon that COD worked on, it's got a distinct style. It's got a lot of fun details and stuff. He has done a really, really fantastic job with that dungeon. I think you guys are going to love it. And so now that that style exists, and thematically it makes sense with where I wanted to create the new thing and what I'd want to add. It doesn't have to be very big, because with us, we've got mini dungeons. For those of you that don't know, we've got dungeons in game that are like a couple rooms that you can stumble upon, just like in different places. Some of you may have already found the spiders in Shaded Dunes. There's a little crypt there that's all spidered up and stuff. So, a mini dungeon could be anything from a couple rooms or a room all the way through, essentially what you might consider to be like a small dungeon in a game like EQ or something like that. So. Spider Crypt's awesome. My group was the only one in there. We climbed the webs. Yeah, it's really cool. First assembled that and did a really fantastic job with it. But again, to your point, Blue Queen, a lot of how I've worked in the past is like, hey, we've got this piece and that piece. Can we put them together really quick to make some more content, right? This zone you guys designed it. For those of you that aren't aware of this zone, if you go back and look at the VODs that are Scarwood, go back to the first one and it's Scarwood community design. Basically, this zone was designed by the community. So, do you consider a mini dungeon its own zone, or would it consider something like the Cultists and Night Harbor to be a mini dungeon? When we say mini dungeon, we typically are referring to... Yeah, that's a fair question. It could be either. I think we're often referring to the individual zones with a zone line. But yeah, we do have like some in-world mini dungeons as well. Like we've got a couple in Night Harbor, and before it's all over with, there may be a few. Sir Bill says, does the term kitbashing mean the creation of a set of 3D assets to be used, or does it mean combining multiple sets of assets to create something new? The latter. So it's like, I think the term originally came from like miniatures folks, like miniatures or Legos, right? Because you might have different pieces from like models, and you kit bash two different model kits together to create like a new thing. And so we do that all the time with assets. The bins, consider like the bins as a mini dungeon maybe? Yeah, I mean, honestly, it is not even mini, right? Like it's a bit of a dungeon, even though it just happens to be a district without zone lines. Sure thing, Bill. Oh my god, I'm sitting here. I've been so lazy lately that working my core yesterday, I'm like, I'm almost got a cramp. I'm so sore. Ow. The verticality of the bins is pretty neat, and all the nooks and crannies. It's a pathing nightmare. But man, it is a cool little area. I love it so much. And I think we got booted from the server. Yeah. Oh well, we weren't being very productive. Let me grab latest if there's something to grab. There is. Yeah, class icons on character select. You'll see them on the way in. I'll pause for a minute so you can see them better. Mir said in Kunark and Field of Bone, there's a bunch of underground ruins that most people never go to. I like to level in the ones off the shore. Feels like you're somewhere truly hidden. Those little pockets in those places are so fun, right? Like it just feels like your little special place. Imagine if you're one of the few people that goes to one of those to level. Because maybe it's kind of out of the way, and maybe it's in a higher level area, but you're lower level and it's got content in it, you know, kind of like the little spiders and stuff like that. And imagine if you're in there enough, you just happen to be the person that sees like a really weird rare spawn or conditional spawn. And just because you happen to be the one that goes there so much, you find it. Excuse me. Rixie says, to be honest, I'm excited to go anywhere that isn't a desert just because I've been in the desert for so long. Do you know how long we've been in the desert? We have 40 years. 40 years the team has been following me around. Interworld, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well. Can we try to get back in? When the team started, Sean still had hair. That is actually a joke. That's not a joke. I used to. I'm gonna blame the high powered light I mean, the hair is there. It's just kind of, I swear it's just being washed out by the light. I actually did have hair like 5 years ago. This is what you folks have done to me. It's there. It's just real thin. Hair was lost due to camp heat stress. Not even. Is it 90% or 100% Ollie's fault? No way. Ollie's the dude. Ollie's a sweetheart. Ollie is an oasis in the desert. Chromium said, can you possibly briefly... Nope. You got me right there. I cannot briefly do anything. I've fixed a total of 1 bug in the last hour and 10 minutes. And it took me 43 minutes to quickly describe my role on a team. Can you briefly explain the team's thought process on how much player classes items should overlap in terms of abilities versus being unique? I can provide you, I think, with a hand wavy rambly version of that. If it's not covered in one of the 2 streams Nick did recently, they're each like 5 hours long. You really should check those out. If you haven't, then it's a great question for the next stream that he has. Our hope is to have the classes feel as unique in their identity as possible. And to the best of my knowledge, that includes hybrids. Those hybrids may have some abilities that stem from their like parent classes or whatever. Again, it's my understanding that we want the classes themselves to feel as unique, though there is always overlap in role to some degree, as possible. And then the ability, depending on gearing, there may be items that you get with certain properties like clickies or effects or whatever, that allow you to flex in some different ways. But again, we're fairly anti-homogenization, and we do like the fact that people play alts, and it encourages people to try other classes, and we understand that there are some challenges that come with that, and no one's ever going to do it perfect. But hopefully I'm explaining that adequately. If not, then please go hit up one of Nick's streams as well and see if you can kind of triangulate the information. Vex says, looking forward to seeing the Deep Elf City. Hope it has Spider Queen vibes. It's definitely gonna have some vibes in that ballpark. Are there plans for items that give bonuses to certain spells, like 10% more healing done sort of thing, or spell alteration type thing? I am unsure. I wouldn't be surprised. Kind of like spell focus items, or I wouldn't be shocked. That's a great answer. That's great. Thanks for the answer. I definitely have been watching as many of Nick's streams as I can. You're very welcome, then. Bloody Bones, thank you for the follow. So for those of you that haven't seen this yet, yep, this has gone in. And you can move these. So that way you can organize your roster. And like I said, do we cap you at the moment? I should do a patch notes stream. Oh, that would be sick. I think people would really appreciate that. Speaking of which, there he is. So he can answer some questions in text here, but I know for a fact it's a lot easier to answer questions like that in voice. And so if you're not following Nick's stream already, he's right there. So it's easy to find, Nick Hotz. And if you sign up for notifications in Discord, stream notifications, then you'll also see it as well. So if I can get back in. What's up, Arthax? Yeah, Encrypt has been doing a ton of work on UI, and it's come along a ton since he's gotten on the team, and we're very, very appreciative that he's in there doing that work. You said other live in another live, okay, stream, that the game is obviously inspired by many old school games, futures, and ideas. You mentioned Anarchy Online at some point. Have you maybe an example of what inspired you in Anarchy Online? I'll be honest, I don't, because the stuff that has inspired me from Anarchy Online previously was stuff that we added to EverQuest, which isn't applicable here. One of our guys is a huge AO fan, and I think even worked in either in the community or the emulator community. So John NS, when you see him around, he is our main guy that's referencing like AO stuff. And so I know that he's often, like I said, behind the scenes, the team we're not siloed. Everybody sees everything and is commenting and stuff. John will frequently be like, "Oh, hey, I like this about that." It's funny. He's been mentioning he's been mentioning the AO trader class a lot and talking about like some different ideas and stuff. So it's little stuff like that. So I can't speak to anything directly. But Lost Dungeons of Norath back in the day stemmed directly from playing Anarchy Online. For better or worse, for those of you that are like, oh no, again, having been the design lead on that one, you can maybe see where that's now informed things to do or not to do coming into this one. So yeah, I thought it was a fun expansion, and for its time and place, I think it was good. I'm still very proud of what we were able to pull off with like all those expansions that kind of changed the course of EQ, and thus ultimately WoW and stuff like that. Because people forget that stuff came out before WoW went live. So the thing is, it created a different feeling game, and with M&M, we're really wanting to get back to that original feel. Hey, Swanee. Pause. Oh, I just remember what I need to do. I wanted to go take a look at some go-tos that were acting kind of funky in Evershade. So I'll get that. I'll put that on my list of things to do as well today. No, that's too many. Go home and restart the loop. Okay. I want to come in and rebuild this cave. I'm not a very big fan of this cave, the way it turned out. So speaking of kitbashing, I'll probably grab another cave set that I think looks a lot better sometime soon, but it's not a priority for this playtest. So we've gone through, you guys have asked about it in the past while I'm thinking about it. What we did recently was last week we went through and we looked at our breakdowns, our various breakdowns of what we have left to do before early access launch. What we've got left to do for I keep saying milestone 1, module 1, and now we're starting to consider, like, all right, as module 1 is wrapped up, as we're heading towards the end of the year, we're actually hoping to have a lot of module 1 fairly wrapped up and ready to go, so that we're testing it a bit, polishing it, and then getting it ready to go live a couple or few months after we go into early access, so you're not waiting around for a long time for a big update. And so, but then by the time that we're getting ready to go live with module 1, we need to already have made some good progress on module 2, right? And that's just going to be the name of the game for us. Is hopefully, we'll see. This may all change. The approach won't change, but maybe the dates that we have in mind or time frames we have in mind will change. Yeah, so it's essentially it's laying the tracks in front of the train, as Cod said, or as Cod said that I said. And just getting in that habit of always, you know, hopefully building up the rhythm of handling the live issues, handling the bugs with the existing stuff, handling, you know, essentially the live game as well as the, I don't want to say expansion development, because it's really continuing to make very solid progress in early access towards 1.0. Wouldn't pushing modules out that fast be a lot of tiring work? It's a lot of work. Making an MMO, especially one that's not content complete, is a lot of work, and it's a lot of just ongoing work. The goal though is not to like crush us or kill ourselves with the amount of work. The goal is to find what we feel is a reasonable amount of content to get out, like a meaningful amount of content. Figure out the right pace at which we can develop that, and then just get a rhythm down so that it's not a question mark in your head as to whether or not new shit's coming out regularly. So, there was a period where we were pushing out EverQuest expansion every 6 months. And so we don't want it to be like guesswork. We want to get to a point where, and I think we've been good about this so far. We give you a set of dates, we show you a roadmap, we deliver on that roadmap, and we hit those dates. That's what we've been trying to do. With doing the module work alongside essentially going into early access for the first time. We'll see if that becomes too turbulent or creates too much unpredictability or whatever. We'll see what you guys think about the quality of stuff that we put out, and see, hey, is this actually truly good enough once people are giving us money? And then we'll adjust our plans based on that. We'll see how much money we have coming in and whether or not we can increase our throughput by, if we've got enough money, then that means we can pay for more of the team's time, and we can also utilize outsourcing. The outsourcing company is a company we've developed a relationship for years now with, and we're hoping that pans out really well, and so we're able to stay on top of things for you guys. So anyway, none of that really matters. What you guys ultimately care about or should care about is what we deliver to you and when. And that is something we just have to prove. But since people ask at times, just wanted to mention, we've looked at everything we need to get done in the foreseeable future, and we've broken that down in more discrete milestones over the last week, where they're each focused on a playtest, because that's the most player-facing thing that we do, right? And that playtests are the most disruptive things in our development process at the moment. But they're good because they do force us to focus on, as corporate speak would say, like player-facing value. So it's do we screw around with this other thing, or do we polish this thing, or do we fix this obvious thing that we need to have fixed before we let you guys back on the server, right? So it makes prioritization a little bit, I guess, if not easier, at least a little more obvious what the discussion needs to be. And so then we've divided up our work between this coming milestone, which is the September playtest, which our pencils down date will be this coming Sunday, so that we've basically got a week of having a hopefully stable build. And if it's not stable, then that's something that we can debug and like figure out like what's the source of the instability without introducing more stuff that potentially makes it more unstable. And so we like to have like a for what we're doing, at least a week of just kind of nothing new's happening with that build. People are playing it, the people in the closed alpha are playing it. If they're seeing like showstoppers or things that are, oh shit, this would impact a playtest, then we can isolate those, and then we can fix them in isolation, hopefully integrate the changes in a way that doesn't create more bugs. Because our number one goal when we go into a playtest is you being able to play. And that may sound stupid, that may sound like a very obvious thing to say, but having worked on other live games and having seen other live games in action, sometimes it's not that obvious, right? And we have been guilty of this in the past as well. I think, personally speaking, I get very, very nervous. I clutch the pearls tightly if we're running builds, new build after new build, like the day of a playtest, because if something breaks, and it breaks in a way where we just can't let you guys on the server, and you guys have taken time off of work or planned your snacks around it, or you've already started day drinking, and we don't want that to go to waste. So we want, when we say the servers are going to come up on this day at this time, we want that to happen for you. So yeah, so we've basically broken out into September playtest, November playtest, early access. That's not saying we might not sneak a playtest in there between November and when we go live. And then module 1 and module 2, right? So those are, and you can see those get chunkier as we go. So yeah. But people have asked in the past, like, how do we handle milestones and what's going on? How are things looking? All of that stuff. And think that kind of covers all of it. I mean, so far things are looking pretty good. Nothing scary so far. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always nerve-wracking doing this because it's, I don't know. Have you guys ever had like a birthday party or a party? I don't know, Super Bowl party, whatever it is. Have you ever set up a party and you're like, I hope people show up, right? Like, I hope they have a good time. And there's always that, oh, they may not kind of feeling. That is always present if you're doing what we're doing. There's that idea that we may flip the switch on the servers and people are like, oh, wait, this is the game? No, I'm not into it. You've opened several restaurants, same feeling. Yeah, I can imagine. Never had a birthday party? Jehovah's Witness? JK? Okay. I would have believed it. The Trello board is super insightful and appreciated. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. For us, I mean, the big difference between that and this is just that this is mapped towards specific timing and milestones and stuff. And we may expose more of that over time. We'll see. Caring devs, too real. I feel seen. I mean, we really do care. We do want you guys to have a good time and have a good experience. We take a lot of pride in it. And I think most teams do, to be honest. It just may not seem like it sometimes, but a lot of times it's not malicious. It's just, sometimes it just comes down to discipline or experience or whatever. I made sure to have kids a decade ago so they'd be grown for this playtest. Don't disappoint. You are a master of foresight. Santa Pask says, Sean, do you have any idea why a video games company, for example, would actively not listen to the player's wishes and sometimes even do the opposite? Since you have experience with companies, you might know something. Actually thinking about WoW's case, for example. People have been asking for years that the story returns to being about the war in Warcraft, but they still don't. I don't know that there's an easy answer for that. Every team's going to be a little bit different on why. Every company's a different scale. Every company has different leadership, has different strategies. And some companies may do what you've described, and we don't listen to we listen, but we're not going to act on everything that you want, right? And we'll be accused. Listen, when we go into early access, we already get it, right? There's already, we can yeah, good catch. We don't listen. We don't read any of your shit. No, but you realize it's not true. We're in there all the time, right? Tim Kane has a video on this. Yeah, and he probably will explain this a lot clearer than I will. So you've got to look at, for your specific example, like the story returning to being about the war and world in the World of Warcraft. That could be a team culture thing. I don't necessarily now the team's leadership and the team's direction from in a company of that scale, parent company, the company's leadership. In the past, it may be board of directors, company's leadership, on down. They are a significant part of setting the culture. There are boards or parent companies or whatever that may be hands off, but at the end of the day, they know what company they have and what leaders they have in place, what they put in place, or what kind of company they bought. And they're, if they're looking at the bottom line and they think that it's going to move the bottom line one way or the other, if they have a change in leadership or change of culture or direction, then they may make a change there. I think one thing that you see with some teams is teams will be built by a certain group of people, and they've got a certain culture, a certain mindset, certain interests, certain backgrounds. And over time, new people will come onto the team, and they may have a very different... They may still have a great passion for the game's history, the game's story, or the world's lore, but they may have different sensibilities. They may have a different worldviews, and those things can absolutely shape the game. Why wouldn't it, right? And if there is leadership in place that didn't agree with those changes, then they would be, well, first of all, would they be hiring that team? Second of all, if they did hire that team, would they be helping to sort of mentor them and get them in alignment with the company's vision? If that's if they don't agree with it. If they do agree with it, then what you'll see over time is a reinforcement of that. So the reason why the story may be a different focus and there may be less war in World of Warcraft or something like that could be just a different... just a change in the company. I don't... at that point, the previous team might have listened to that feedback and taken it to heart because it's feedback that aligns with what they want for the game, and the new team may not because it isn't. So, that's... so COD also said the loudest players aren't necessarily in agreement with the majority of players. And this is something that is a phenomenon as well. We have what, like 17,000 people in the Discord, active chatters at any given time. Probably at most over the course of a day, a couple hundred. The most vocal chatters, probably a subset of that. Don't understand why every game nowadays has to have this kind of soft or colorful atmosphere. It's kind of sad because people who play WoW, for example, aren't exactly young, and they still make a Marvel Hello Kitty kind of story. I think that's again, people fall into trends now. I have seen companies where direction does come from above for it to be like this, right? And I think you guys have seen it as well, where it's like, hey, make an extraction game, make a battle royale, add battle royale elements, make it more like Battlefield. Hey, what's up, Dark Inside? Make it... I heard that Minecraft's hot. The kids like Minecraft. What do you have? What is your strategy for competing with Minecraft? Is the kind of question that may come from like a board. And over the years, it comes in phases, right? Like, what is your China strategy? When I was executive at the last company, it's like, what is your strategy for this? What is your strategy for that? And sometimes people in leadership aren't prepared to, or able to, or willing to go to the board and go, we don't have a strategy for that because we're not doing that. Right? Like, and so, and the other thing is, it may not just be motivated by greed. It can be that potentially the people working on the game have been caught up in that rut. They look at it and they go, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I just saw, Ghost video. And I didn't watch the full thing, but just watched a little bit of that stream and the VOD for that. And again, it's very much, I look at it and it's kind of in that Fortnite, Palia, And I don't think that looks bad. It's not something that we would want for our game, right? Like, it's not something that I'd want to work in necessarily, but I look at it, I'm like, okay. It's easy for games to fall into these kind of ruts, but as somebody that's like a non-artist that's not going to speak to the details of it, I look at games all the time, and I think like, oh, you know, all 5 of these games basically look the same, and I think that just sort of happens. And so we have that conversation, like, you know, some people don't like our art style. A lot of people, and, you know, at least in our echo chamber, do. But the thing that we like about it, or the thing that I like about it for sure, is that it feels like our, you know, it feels like we've put together our own style. So it's a lot easier for us to kind of be proud and think if somebody sees a clip of our game, they're going to know it's our game, whether they like it or not. There's this game that everybody wants chat bubbles in, but they keep refusing, Zinfar said. You think you want chat bubbles, but you don't. Now you can clip that so that one day I can be like, I heard your favorite flavor of ice cream comes with bubbles. Is it bubble gum? What do you guys not do? You know, God, it would be. Do you guys not have? Do you guys not have chat boxes? You have 4 chat boxes? You know what? You can have a 5th one on the house. They're free. They are free. That is how much we love you. Kind of love it, to be honest. I'm rocking the TIE Fighter UI. Beautiful. Cinepass says, yeah, you're right that there are trends in the market, but many Western games are actually having way less sales than they used to have. I mean, AAA mostly, and Asian games more, so there's clearly a choice. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that the trends are the right trends. I'm just saying they're trends, right? There's how many like Minecraft kind of knockoff type games or whatever over the years. Just because people are following a trend doesn't mean that that it's the right trend. There was a period when I was at SOE where when we were working on new games, basically if you weren't pitching GTA, you weren't going to get a green light. And then if you're pitching characters, you know, who's going to be the character if it's like when we were doing Untold Legends for the PS3, or like if we needed to have an iconic character is kind of like the new Furiona Vi, Jessica Alba. I was in so many meetings where Jessica Alba was brought up. She's got to look like Jessica Alba. That was the trend. Gotta look like Jessica Alba. And if you go back to that period of time and you look at games, you'll see a number of Jessica Albas out there, right? So that is a very early 2000s trend, and that is exactly when it was. Kind of weird that she vanished, didn't she? Yeah, that's true. What has she been up to? Don't blame them. I wish more things looked like Jessica Alba. Okay. Fair. She's got $1 billion company? Nice. Yeah, I don't... Like, what is that, the Honest Company? I'm telling you, I'm fairly certain Jasmine would know, but I don't know. All I think about all day long is you guys. If it's not you guys, I'm not thinking about it. That's hot. Nice. I'm glad you think so, because I think so. Essential, what's going on? I hope I'm doing well today. I am. Seeing lots of good chatter on M&M. Keep up the good work. Hey, that is good to hear. Good chatter. Honestly, any chatter is good. M&M's only MMO I'm looking forward to, for example. I'm done with huge companies going safer and safer. Hey, we appreciate that. We'll take it. I mean, we do encourage people to check out other stuff, and you know, there are some good games out there. Link below. We've got some friends out there working on some cool stuff as well. So we'll always encourage you to check out and play tests. For example, AOA. And AOA just put out some pretty cool patch notes. We will, if we haven't read them already, we'll read them and immediately start looking at what we need to steal. What? Patch note battle. I like it. Looking at them now, got them open. I'll keep them open there. Anyways, Halfling City is peak. So, with all due respect, and again, we do love them, but we were talking about our halflings, what, yesterday? I think yesterday. And we were laughing our asses off. We were laughing so hard about an idea that we have for the halflings. Chinny, you were in there for that conversation, weren't you? Were you in there yesterday when we were talking about the halflings in a certain theme? Oh, we need to talk. There's an image. There's actually an image. If you go, Zukin can fill you in. There's a certain movie that we were talking about as a beautiful halfling reference. Sorry, I'm reading Slack really quick, make sure I'm not missing anything. Mark on red, so I'll get back to it. No, not the crow. Not the crow. Not Willow. You guys are... You will not guess this reference. I don't care. You can guess all you want. Because you're not going to guess this reference. Do we have plans to have Knowles in the game? Yes. Do you guys... Wait, I'm going to assume that Halfling City is not going to be ogre accessible. It will be accessible, but you will not be able to get into some buildings without a shrink, probably. I'm probably gonna redo this area here a little bit, but not until after the playtest, and then probably make this a 3-building camp. Ewoks would be fun, yes, but we already have them in the form of wood elves. It's true. Chinny, did you already talk to Zukin? What's up, Quicksana? All right, I want to show like a reveal so bad because like we still have to deliver on it, but I don't know if it would be too much. Will the game release in early access at the beginning of 2026? Yep, that is the plan. No, you guys don't get to say whether or not I do it. Oh. Why'd I do that? Let me... I'm actually gonna... I'm gonna send this to you, Chinny. Gone with the what? Gone with the wind? No. Really? 23? Okay. Missed the reference, but it's clearly a reference to Kung Pao Enter the Fist. You guys, you're not gonna, you won't get it, but you'll appreciate it. Chinny said you never would have guessed. Nice. Nope, God. It's in Confluence if you go digging. I posted a picture in Confluence, God. Oops. The Terror of Tiny Town. It's a good guess. That's solid. Seven. That was such a good movie when it came out. Oh, it's a tough one. Who did Seven? Fincher? Yeah. Did he do any bad movies? Some people don't like Alien 3. That was him? I didn't realize that was him. Any news on gnomes riding ogres? No update on that. Unfortunately. That is a very good question to ask, and it is a critical feature. Any news on Dan riding his crocodile? No news on that either, Dan. Yeah. Yeah, Fincher's movies. I mean, I really enjoyed, was it Social Network? Like, that used to be a movie that I'd watch once a year. Did he also do Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, US version? Cool. Fight Club. Fantastic. Fight Club was an interesting one because I had never... I was living in Alabama at the time. I had gotten out of the army, had the skate park, was living in Alabama. And, you know, how skateboarders are, especially ones from Alabama. We had a we kind of had a tendency to basically get together and like wrestle and beat each other up. And one of the guys, we were visiting a friend of mine in Birmingham. One of the guys was like, "Oh, we should go check out this movie." And even then, he didn't describe what, like, whoever said, "Hey, we should go to this movie," did not describe. That sounds accurate for Southern skaters. It's very true, right? And like before we went to see it that day, we had actually just got done beating each other up in the basement where he had a game room in the basement of his house in Birmingham. And we just went to see it, and I went into it completely cold. And my mind was just like blown. It was just so after that, definitely checked out more of Chuck Palahniuk. I think that's the proper pronunciation. His work, and you know, there's some good stuff in there. No idea you were also in the army. That's trippy experience-wise. Yeah. Yep. I was in and got out and then opened a skate park and then discovered EverQuest and then decided I was going to join the games industry and then moved to California, and here I am. That is my bio. What's up, Black Rose? One of the aristocrats lives just outside Birmingham too. How wild. Yeah, Birmingham was wild back in the day. I wouldn't be shocked if it's even crazier now. Has some hits and misses. Started reading a bunch of his stuff when he moved to Portland back in the day. Yeah, for sure. Though there is some... there was one that I really liked, and I don't think it's been turned into a movie. Making M&M super cool and all, but made a skate park hard to top. Making a skate park was pretty cool, but it was a lot of work, very little payoff, and making M&M's about 1,000,000 times cooler. And had I not gotten a job at Verint when I moved to California, my friends are in the skateboard industry there, and so I'd probably have wound up working for Zero or like the black box distribution companies. That was my fallback plan. Working in the warehouse. Which involves more balancing, M&M or a skate park? M&M. M&M is so much more complex. Some of the best skate spots in my area are homemade spots, people made by sneaking in bags of concrete and stuff. We have a drainage ditch beside the interstate that people used to call the second wallows. Yeah. I mean, if you're in a place without like good skate parks, or I mean, sometimes even if you've got a good skate park, it's fun to like do a little baby Burnside or something. It's just part of the culture, right? Like one of the worst things about having a skate park was trying to get skaters to follow the rules of a skate park. Penalties for failing to balance at a skate park can be pretty bad, though. Yeah, I mean, financially they can be pretty bad as well. When we opened a skate park, we did not know what we were doing. We completely screwed ourselves from day one. Gold Rail and Federal Courthouse in DC were a decent skate park. I went to an actual skate park in DC in 96, 95, 96. in the DC area. I don't remember where it was. And I did not have a lot of fun. I just wasn't used to skating a park yet until we made our own. Everything that we had to skate back in Alabama, in Dothan, because I lived in Dothan, it was just like, it was just really crappy street spots. What adventure are we mostly working on today? Just doing a little bit of population work in Scarwood. Real simple stuff. Oops. Probably started skating in 96. How old were you? Were you still pretty young, or did you start old? Grew up in Anaheim. We had Van Skate Park in Orange. I met the son, the Van's son. I think it was his name, like Steve Van Heusen or whatever it is. Whatever the name. I met him down at like a Warp Tour in Panama City, and was just like, I was so naive. I was like, oh man, we've got this skate park up like an hour from here, and it's indoor and blah blah blah, and you guys should totally come up. And I did not realize I was so far out of my depth. I was just like, yeah man, it'd be cool. And he was just like, who are you? Why are you talking to me? He was very gracious about it, but the other closest skate park was Fat Chuck's, I think, in Panama City Beach, but it was outdoors and it rained a lot there, so every once in a while people would wind up coming up to our park, which was just like this metal warehouse and an hour away in Alabama. Dan said, yeah, my city finally built a park, but it suffers from lots of non-skaters just using the ramps as seats and stuff like that. It's too close to a normal children's park, so kids try to play on the ramps and stuff. It's a nightmare. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Had no idea you were from so close. Grew up in East Tennessee, which is on the county scale ain't too far away. Well, I mean, East Tennessee, we'd still have to traverse basically the whole state. Where I lived in Alabama was like 10-15 minutes from the Florida state line, about 15 minutes from the Georgia state line. And so, like when I was a kid, on Saturdays we were dry county. So when we were out, like, you know, drinking and stuff on the weekends when I was a teen, we'd have to cross down into Florida because all the alcohol would be locked up at midnight on a Saturday. Even better, you grew up in PCB. Yeah, PCB was a lot of fun, man. The wrong kind. It was cool. Did a lot of growing up. That's funny because in Florida we drove across state line to buy 40s. Where would you have to? What, to Georgia? You didn't have 40s, but you had gallon jugs full of beer. I remember those. Didn't know it came in gallons. It just came in like a milk jug. Making fun of our gator growlers. Wow. That is brilliant. Gator growlers. Florida man loves gator growlers. Sounds like a good item for the brewing profession. You should make sure that that makes its way to Rift. Gator growler. $56, $57, $55. Okay. Do another one. So 58 maybe? Then we'll look at the little wildlife mix. Zururu said crocodile hatchlings should drop a rare gator growler. Chomper's loot table for sure. It looks like some of you have found the albino, the little albino alligator. I don't know. I don't think he actually appears as an albino though. I think that's a lie. I was ambitious when I put that in like 3 years ago. Fatuous Fall, thank you for the follow. Oh, did you guys see the orange shark they found? Speaking of dolphins. Zururu, thank you for the follow. What's the rarest spawn chance you have in the DB? I can't tell you, but there is one. And I'm fairly certain no one's run into it. I know Nick's got one in there that is super rare, and I don't think anybody's run into it. And then there's some stuff that you probably haven't discovered yet. Orange shark sounds tasty. Orange shark in the news. Images. Zukin, can our sharks do this? Sharks confirmed. Sharks were in the update. Dan, do you not read our updates? Oh, Dan. What are we going to do with you? Shark Team too hot for internet, apparently. Yeah, it's of all the things that don't get blurred in some of my searches. Goblins can't read. You expect us to read, Tiff says. Mm-hmm. Speaking of expecting you to read, you know what? Hold on 1 second. Or actually, Discord. Discord. Community content. Hit pause. Grab link.
Before we start. 1. For viewers in the future, if any, this video was released.
If you guys have not checked this video out yet. Oh, let me double check. I hope that's the right one. It is a cat with opinions. I thought I hit pause. Okay. There you go. Really enjoyed that video. Watched it yesterday. We were checking it out. Check it out. Why am I doing it there instead of here? No. You said a cat with opinions too fast and it sounded like something else? What? I think you just got something else on the mind. I think you just got something on your brain. What you been thinking about, Willis? Oh man, I wish Chip was here. I have a question. I'm just gonna do it the crazy way right now, and then I'll find out if that is correct or incorrect with the way that we're spawning stuff in volumes right now. If the little green spawner gremlin here, the little goblin head, if it goes below the nav mesh, is it no longer spawning properly? I guess I could just test that out. Let me just test that real quick. Go here. This is Scarwood. This is Scarwood. Wildlife. There we go. Let me run over here. Faster. We'll do 10. Save. You found 2 very scary giant skeletons that like to hide under the terrain around Vale to the Keeper's zone line. I could see that being a thing. We'll have to find them and fix them. Okay, so these guys spawned. Cool. Have fun at the gym, Cod. Don't hurt yourself. Okay, we got a guy spawning up here. Let's make it more obvious for testing purposes, though. No promises. Well, do your best, buddy. Oh, somebody asked about the run animation like 2 hours ago. Yeah, there's been some update to the way the run handles strafing. Nick and Ali have been working with, I think, Staff on that to get it looking a little bit cleaner. Saw a bunch of giants in Vaz the last time I played. Is that a city sort of like TE or just mobs to kill? It's more of a outdoor point of interest at the moment. It's got potential. It could potentially be a bigger area in the future, but for now it's just a bigger POI area. I mean, there's a bit to it. You can definitely run around in there. And find some stuff, but it's not a full dungeon. I know your name's Chicken Nuggy 2424, but it immediately just was burned in my brain that your name is Tendies. Okay. Well, it looks like it's spawning like this. Let me see if there's any spawning underworld or anything weird like that, but there's no underworld for them to spawn on, so I think we're safe. Yeah, I mean, they spawn... yeah, I don't think we're going to have that problem here because there's no overlapping geo. Okay. Now, does this volume come all the way down here? No, it stops right before that rock and this rock. So if I move this volume to include those rocks for a moment as an experiment, and then we reload zone again. Collision on. Reload zone. Then we'll see. It'll take a second for all the mobs to load in because we're spawning like 150 of them right here in this little area. For science. We're doing it for science. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a problem here. Cool. Okay. Well, that seems I mean, that seems good then. It still doesn't necessarily tell me if that's the best way to do it moving forward, but they're all facing the same direction. They have no bearing. 1K. You're lucky that John is not here. Otherwise, you would probably initiate a battle of some sort. So cool. You know what? We'll leave this volume here the way it is. Now, did they spawn? Are they spawning anywhere where it's raised? I don't believe they are. Yep. See, they're stopping right there because it's elevated above the ground. Where if we now dip that in, dip it in a bit more, but we'll still keep the hill in here. Make an area populated like that for PvAE killing, just for you, and only tell you in your static where it is. And then we'll see the bald spot will be here in the next... Oh, server's shutting down in 10 seconds, 5 seconds. We won't make it in time. It was funny, I was sitting in Evershade earlier, like when the stream first started and it was raining and we're in that big fungus tunnel. Hearing the thunder kind of echo in there and stuff. Was saying in Slack that it's going to be really cool to have like interesting weather events in the deep in some of those zones, just so that you've got like those interesting sounds coming through there. Potentially strange phenomenon that serve as weather in the deep. First has had a bunch of ideas for stuff like that over the years, so I think it'll be fun. That way, those deep zones also maintain a certain amount of like of that kind of. How would you describe that? The occasional sort of like interstitial dynamic changes and stuff. Deep storms, lightning strikes the ceiling. Well, what if it's like you hear like tectonic plate shift and stuff, and there's like electrical storms along the ceiling and stuff. Yeah, spore rain we talked about in the past. Gravel rain. That's chocolate rain. Mole man quakes. Random stalactites falling and one-shotting you. Why? So it's stalactite because it hugs the ceiling tightly, and then, or is it stalactite because it hugs the floor tightly, but stalagmite fall? Do you guys know offhand? Tight top, mites on the ground. That's how you remembered it? Alright, Coop. I will remember now. Bill said, also lightning does start from the ground up to the sky. But it never looks that way, does it? Stalag G mite ground. Stalactite ceiling tight. Gurkowski, that's also good. Most of what I know I've learned from chat in the last 4.5 years. Jetser says tight holds tightly to the ceiling, might reach the ceiling one day. I like that one as well. Does that message further explain what's being asked? The options make it pretty clear. Just avoid both words entirely. Yeah, but soon I will also be a cave professional, so I'll have to know it. So lightning could theoretically come from deep down and disperse in a jagged mineral vein. I can totally see it. I could totally see it, Bill. Like some crazy, was it piezo, electrical craziness? Lightning is how we get truffle mushrooms as well. Only oak trees that have been hit by lightning grow mushrooms around it. Nah, that's not true. Is that true? What? Could have something to do with gas pockets in caves as well. Dude, we're gonna have to do a brainstorming session soon. Deep weather brainstorming. But not tonight. Because I'm going to get out of here at a reasonable hour tonight. And for those of you that have not participated in our brainstorming sessions before, you can find the VODs on our YouTube. It's funny, I've gotten so out of the habit of like doing all the usual, like join our mailing list, join our Discord, all that stuff. I just assume all of you guys are regulars, even though we have new people joining every stream. The fires did change. We're working on fires right now. We're doing some fire stuff with our new effects guy, Archer. Immediately just thought that's how we get ants. That's how we get ants, Lana. Really like the old style of fires. Christo Disco, we're actually trying to find a little bit, we want to experiment with like a middle ground. Because we like the OG flipbook fire. This one's cool, it's in the right direction, but we want to see if we retain some of that old school feel with the, like, yeah, so it has a classic look with the new embellishments. What's up, Sparrow? Does that make sense? Can you picture it? Hey, Drag. Okay. Let's finish our experiment now that we're done being interrupted by server bouncing. Maybe an option to switch between them? No, that we have to commit. We have to find something that we like and commit to it. But the fire went in, we looked at it, we're like, hey, this is well done, it looks good, but we really want something that's got more of an old school vibe. And so that's what he's going to be working on. So yeah, if you look here, no NPCs in the bald spot, the volume, so. ZBrush had a cool idea with fires, different types of wood providing different buffs. Anything along those lines just been discussed, or fires is set to go. That one seems like a thing that we could potentially do in the future. And that is a cool idea. I would expect, and not to just sound wishy-washy or like to overpromise or whatever. Keep in mind, our goal right now is to get into early access. Once we're into early access, then we're working towards 1.0. There's invariably going to be refinement of systems that we have in. We wanted to just get a lot of these basic pieces in so that we're not doing a thing where it's like we're adding the fire during that stage. The fire's already in. We're not adding the mount for the first time or adding the housing for the first time. Like that stuff's in. Then it's refining it and taking cool ideas like that and go, how does that work? And especially as the world gets bigger and we've got more regions and more types of wood, right? Like that type of stuff. And, you know, and I could also see not only that, but like, can you throw some different minerals in the fire to change the color? Because that's a thing, right? Like, or does it also give you, is there like alchemical things that you could do with your fire? You can already cook on it, right? So there's that type of stuff that as we go, without a doubt, we'll be refining core concepts and adding stuff to them. So yeah, like throwing ground copper into the fire to make it green. So that's been the thought. I've got a chart somewhere like in our Confluence. There, you can find it online if you just do like color, mineral, colored fire chart. Campfire cauldron for group food buff. Ali said, sorry, Sean, you're really distracting, so I left for the last hour. Working on secret things. Secret from all of us or just secret from these people in here? These people. Secret from streams? Cool. I like that kind of thing. Yeah. Secret from stream stuff is fun. There's going to be stuff that you guys don't have ruined for you. Won't that be nice? No. You slacked me, the thing? I open it, it's immediately on screen. Secret ruined. Does it have sound? Oh. Nice. It looks cool. I have to listen to it with audio. I mean, it looks cool to me, but I think I think Nick would probably be your target on that one. Well then, I double approve it. What the frick was I doing? Oh, these guys need to walk around. There probably shouldn't be 150 of them on this hill, huh? What if we just do 15? That's probably a little bit better. So the cauldron thing you're talking about is, let me scroll up. Like everyone could contribute to what is cooking and it would provide food or drink or a group buff similar to how campfires work today, but something like community cooking pot while you're camping. Well, that's a fun idea. A little stew, make a stew out of it. Everybody chips in and makes like a weird little stew. There's little stew formulas that you can figure out. Group trade skills are cool. I like it. Yeah, you got to save them bones. You're going to put human meat into every stew? What you use to stir is you and your party's business. Dan said, I'm going to put raw giant meat in mine. Not to brag. Hey, you know what? When is there not a lot of meat talk in here, Viro? What if you could trade specializations? Ollie said, like if you're the vegan stew or cook, so you provide bonuses to veg, but the other is a butcher, and if you combine your powers, you can make a meat and potato stew that has all the bonuses. That sounds delicious. That, yes, true. You've been spinning the meat for hours. Caveman Nation, thank you for the follow. Ollie, that reminded me when I was in the army. One of my roommates for a little while. I didn't really live on base, but I had a room anyway. One of my roommates was in the Nation of Islam, and so he got special MREs. He got special rations that were like primarily like pasta and stuff because there's like no pork and stuff like that in there. So he got like the no pork rations, and it was honestly like the best pasta with spices and veggies and stuff in there. And I was like, that's really good. And so, yeah, the halal MREs. And I would always be like, because he worked in headquarters, the headquarters platoon. And so I'd always get with him and grab a couple of main courses from him. And then I would grab like, you know, the meat from one of my MREs. Like one of the main courses at the time was like pork patty. That was all it was, like pork patty. I think maybe something else came with it, but I don't remember. Mix them together. Little MRE Chef Boyardee. Oh man, it was delicious. Full circle back to kit bashing. That's true. That is, we've come back to kit bashing one more time. MRE bashing. That was the way to do it. This was what size? Like 250 by 100. I enjoyed MREs as well. Not gonna lie. So simple. Choices were made for you. Yeah, the military. A lot of the choices are made for you. It does definitely keep things simple. What am I going to do today? I'm going to paint those rocks again. Oh, love watching the guy that reviews MREs. Oh, the one that opens like the old ones and checks them out. Like he'll eat like the super. Yeah, I think it is Steve something. Wow, it's so sketchy though. Sometimes those things that he eats, I worry for him. Steve, 1989 MRE info. Yeah, I'm like, Steve, be careful, buddy. I don't eat stuff that's been in the fridge for like more than 5 days. Homeboy's eating Vietnam era MREs. Somebody asked earlier, did I play SWTOR, Sweater, Star Wars Old Republic? I didn't. It came out during a period where I wasn't playing anything. And I was just working nonstop and dying. And I had some strong opinions about the sustainability of the game, but I guess maybe I was wrong. It's not like it died, but That was made in the same parking lot as where I eventually worked. I worked right across the parking lot from those guys. It's now a Broadsword game? Oh, really? They bought it? Bought the rights or whatever? Okay. Well. I almost clicked in stream instead of mute because I thought I was gonna sneeze. That would have been something. What kind of GM events are you willing to tease for the future? None. We haven't discussed them. We've discussed the desire to do them, but definitely not appropriate to allude to what we'd be doing. I accidentally alt F4'd the stream one stream, and I tried to play it off like something happened. I came back, I was like, oh, what was that? Goodness. I thought I was closing out the client, and I had the stream focused, and I was just like alt F4. Lurker said, I had fun leveling and sweater at launch, but once it was max level, there was nothing at all to do. My critique of it, and I mean, I don't have a right or a place to critique it because I didn't play it and I didn't work on it. But when I looked at it, my feeling about the game was that the production values and sort of the I don't know, scripted nature of the content and stuff didn't lead itself to a super sustainable content model. And I had strong concerns about the ongoing cost of maintaining a game of that sort as an MMO. And so that was like the first thing that stood out to me when I saw it. Oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that that could happen to you. Viper said, I played it on release for a while. I was so annoyed when I was nearly max level and made my first light side choice in a dialogue by mistake. My character was then ruined. They didn't have like a way to undo that easily. Maybe a little confirmation box. Darksider said you could have hit escape and redid the conversation. He did not know that at the time. Darksider, where were you? You were not looking out for Viper. We should do a zone where you walk in and it's just like 1,000 animals all staring in one direction, not moving. Like some sort of M. Night Shyamalan movie. And just call it done. And at some point, like years after the zone comes out, they actually do something. And what they do is not surprising at all. You're like, I saw that coming. There's Chip. My biggest props to Sweater is for having the courage to make an energy-based healer, and the implementation choices for making that work I found interesting. Cool. Rapala 33, thank you for the follow. What are... Oh, you know what? I'm a dummy. It probably helps if I actually had a whole flock of abods running around. Alright, so... over here... do another one. Why am I typing there instead of here? 300. By the way, you know how I love halal memes? This is my new favorite one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I want to click it, but I need to watch what pops up. Send me this one on Instagram. Holy, he's going for it. I'll have to listen to it. I have to listen. Send it to me on Instagram so I can listen to it later. Nice. It's funny, said gonna start calling him Halali. Wait, is that like, wait. Explain, Swanee. Hala Ali. Does that, as long as that makes sense to the two of you, then I'm happy. I would have just gone with the easier one of like Bruce Ali. Your son's obsessed with a new game called Bug Snacks. Where do you find bug snacks at? Bug Snacks is a 2020 adventure video game developed by independent Chicago-based developer Young Horses, and the game players explore a mysterious island and attempt to find and capture. Is that eponymous? Eponymous? I've never said that word out loud. Eponymous? Hippopotamus, insect foods. A hip-hop rhinoceros. I just found out it's from 2020. New to me. Hey, you know what? It's not competition. Hip hop. No, you know the song from yes, Flight of the Conchords. Thank you, Lasava. I don't get it. I'm not very good at oh man. Now it sounds familiar, but now I don't know what it is. Okay. Then I probably don't get it. Grokowski's on my wavelengths. Dude, I don't even want to try to read it out. They're so good at that. What do these guys have? It's wildlife as well. I think we need to start layering in some of the crazier stuff. Speaking of rhymes, I have not checked in on Level Up Larry in forever. I hope everything's going well for Larry. Hip hop hippopotamus. These rhymes are bottomless. Yeah. I want to watch that clip again before bed. It sounded, I don't know. I thought he was still streaming for a while. We just got busy here, and so then I hadn't seen him in a bit. But it sounds like he's had a lot of real life going on as well. But I just don't I don't know if that's changed his stream schedule or anything. I've just been out of the loop. I think I asked Nick a while back and he had an answer and it was pretty innocuous. It was like, you know, just a lot of work and kids and other stuff going on or something. But I hope he's well. I loved his content, man. Expert level stuff. Yeah, Larry has all of, like, I'll refer to it, I'll say in the present, not the past, because like I said, I don't know, he may be streaming. I just have not checked in a while, which is on me. But he's just like everything. Super sweet guy, great personality, funny, production values, awesome, incredible, like, incredible EQ lore understanding. I guess in theory this could be smaller and we could just do a bigger volume down here. There we go. I'll put like 5 critters in there. Totally unrelated. I had to look it up because it's been bugging me for a while. I know it's spelled different, but Ali's name reminds me of a Homestar Runner when Strong Bad played Peasantry. Yes, Ali said his name is pronounced the Trogdor. Let's do a big ass overlapping volume to get in some of this other stuff. Make sure we got critters. I see critters. Hey, Corvus. Got a gap in critters here. Fair enough. We have palm trees in here now for some reason. What in the world? Oh, I know what's going on. Oh, they're a placeholder. Okay, so that's working as intended. They're on here as placeholders for the Treants, I guess. I wonder if they're scaled appropriately. I don't think they're scaled appropriately. Florida Trunkles. Nice. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be funny? Trunkles? Yeah, it's Wickets because apparently I don't say treant properly. When did we go from Scarwood to the villages? Oh man, the villages. My mom just sold a house right near there. Tree aunt. My tree auntie. My tree auntie and him. Yes, I've only been asking about Trunkles for 4 streams, Sean. Wait, are you pro Trunkle? Have you been waiting on Trunkles? Did I get confused, Wickersloth? I say treant like you do, Trexid. All the cool kids say it that way. Trent? Trent? Who calls them Trents? Treant? Trent, is Biffy coming with us? We'll tell her to get in the car. My company does work at a retirement home in the villages. The techs usually have some crazy story when they come back. I bet they're wild out there. Trenton the treant. Trenton the Trent. Tree ants and tree uncles, guys. Trunkles. Alright, well, they're in now. Make their area of operations a bit bigger. Real question time, is there a big sploosh when you go into the water? I mean, I like swimming, but maybe not that much. This stream is ridiculous. There are people out there like doing very serious like game development streams. Can you tell us how many zones will be available at pre-release, including cities and dungeons? Dark Anubis, you will like this link. Himvar said, is this Eminem Gamescom? It is. We spent all of our money on this, so I hope you like it. I hope more people got that joke you just made about the water. Mint. Hey, thanks, Pipes. I do what I can. What are some ways that you guys will deal with DDoS attacks? That is an Ollie question. He has already had to deal with some of that. Oh my goodness, it? Wow. Counter DDoS. Well, I cannot legally say what I would like to do to people if they DDoS us. I cannot publicly say it, I guess. I should say instead. Look, Sean, we all know the only reason why you do these streams is you crave our wackiness. I love your wackiness. I still think that's enough. We'll just make it bigger. Came over here to change time of day. Go back. I thoroughly enjoy your wackiness. kinetic strike from orbit is clearly responsible, or the reasonable response, Rixie. It kind of is, but like, I've been leveling a lot in the zone. Great to see it getting some love. Listen, I didn't realize the zone line had been activated in this zone, or I would have probably given it more love earlier. So it'll have more stuff in it, and we'll continue to get more stuff in it before the playtest. By the way, do we know if this playtest we're moving elves up to the trees? Nicodemus and Lasava have been working on. Are there vendors in a small wood elf village at the docks now? That is not a wood elf village, but that's a good point. Should probably get some more vendors and stuff into Penshaw. Let me go over to our task list. And add a task for myself for this week. In the village outside of Evershade, or in Evershade? Which one are you talking about? Let me hit save. In the bite? Really? Really? Zone keepers bite. Tomorrow I have to actually sit down and have a nice focused, get stuff in at a reasonable rate day to knock some of this stuff out. GM speed. Yeah, the lift not working there is known. I don't know that that's going to be fixed before the playtest. We'll have to look at it. Yeah, so the stable master's in. Okay, this guy needs to have his. So let me add a quick note for myself. Add / update NPCs in Penshaw KB. Alright, yeah, because this guy should have a merchant list with some simple stuff on it. Because this will be a tavern. And then we got an inn over here that should also provide you with blacksmithing supplies. Does he actually have the list? Okay. Love how you can see the lights from Wood Elf City from there. Yeah, and as the city continues to get refined, we'll update that facade. Bjorn has been working on it. This is the inn. I thought for sure he had a list. Alright, they need to... These guys will be able to take care of your food needs. Oh, sent you my folio CV with some ideas for Phelan Raw. If you sent it, then I've seen it. I'm not thinking of it offhand at the moment, but I can look in my DMs. At this point in my day, my brain is mush. And he needs to be hooked up properly. And we need to figure out what kind of doors we want for here. Our existing doors don't work with this, I don't think. Hey, General Goods is here. Doesn't cover your food needs, so does it? Alright. We'll see what we can do there. And on that note, and also with the sound of Jasmine coming home, there she is. And it's 9:19. I think I'm going to wrap up for tonight. That way I can catch up with her. I can grab a quick bite. I can go to bed at a reasonable hour. I can wake up and start doing the stuff that I probably should have gotten done this evening. And then also the things you just pointed out. So... Cool. I will say goodnight. See you, Coot. Meeks. There's some plans for leashing potentially certain encounters or certain very specific mobs, but generally no. Black Rose, good night. I will see all of you guys on Friday, by the way. Viro, see ya. Burrito, take care. Werebear, thank you very much. Hey, I love you too. In a very healthy way. Gunnar Wolf, have a good night. See you, Bill. I'll say hi to Jasmine. She just took the dog out. Nickelback, see ya. Nasamoli. Take care, and I'll look for that. Just ping me on DM, and so it doesn't get lost. I had 30 plus applications that I needed to update everybody on in Discord for the GM thing. So DMs are a blur. See you, Doggeroni. Yep, I'll be here Friday. Classic EverQuest. See you. Perez, take care. Dark Anubis, you're welcome. Chat Solo, Hoop, see ya. Corvus, good night. Jace, a Grimblade, you're very welcome. Later, Wickesloth, good night, Eric. See ya, Rixie, Viper, Meeks, Trexid, Jacaro, SSA Blue Knight, take care. Later, Swanee, I'll see you in Slack. XV, good night. Rookshep, take care. Thanks for being here. Later, Sparrow. Pipes, good night. Arthax, hey, you too. We spoke last week, sent in Discord, then I think you're gonna be sure to ping me because my DMs are. It'll move it back to the top of the list so I don't lose it. It can get lost right now with the playtest coming up and with the GM thing going on. It's a mess. So don't feel bad if you gotta ping me. Azaban, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Ciaz, Nova, Valen, 1K. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're caught up. Everybody have a great Thursday, rest of your Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'll see you on Friday. And then in a week after that, we're going to have a playtest, right? Isn't that about right, timing-wise? All right. You're welcome. Thanks for being here, Lasava. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to click the button. Goodbye.